Hey guys, super excited today. I have Mr. Rod Moser, who is the master of for sale by owners, and I've known him forever. This guy's one of the most successful for sale by owner agents in the United States. Most people just are unaware because he's hard at work, coaching, training, doing all kinds of great stuff. So today I get the pleasure of extracting some amazing scripts and mindset and skills from him on this great topic. So Rod, thank you so much for giving us some time and sharing some of your wisdom with us today.
My pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
You got it. So let's just start up at the top of what I would, the framework to me for mastering any lead type really is just really our mindset about that lead type. So, what would you say are some of the challenges that agents have with their mindset about for sale by owners? And what are some of the best things that you're sharing with people?
Yeah, great question. I think that a lot of us get intimidated because we instantly believe that if they wanted to hire an agent, they would have already, and they're completely against it, and they're super abrupt. And I've tried to call them a few times, and every time I call, I pretty much get less than a sentence in, and they're ready to hang up on me, and they always ask me a question that I don't really have an answer for, or I'll answer it. They'll ask me, hey, do you have a buyer? And the first thing out of your mouth is, well, yes, even though you may not, and how do I know? And that's awkward. And so I think there's a lot of that goes on.
Yes.
I'll tell you why I love them. You can call expireds, and sometimes you call for 2 hours to talk to 3 people, right? There's very few people answering the phones anymore. What I love about for sale by owners, 100% of those numbers are good numbers. They're giving them to you. You are speaking with the person making the decision when you pick up the phone. I love that. And there's typically only one objection that they have. And once you understand how to resolve that problem, it becomes pretty easy to pick these up.
Yep, I love it. I agree with you 100% on both of those sentiments. So in terms of what do you think is, I kind of talk about the mindset that they have that we would need to resolve. And, in my mind, there's some that I can't. And I just need to accept that there's a few that I'm not going to convert. But I'm really actually more curious about the ones that are convertible. And so what would you say to what are some of the mindsets of the convertible FSBO? And then is there any that we need to be avoiding with your expertise?
Yeah, what I'm super excited about with the new NAR settlements and everything, I actually believe we're going to see more for sell by owners attempting things on their own rather than less. What if I can pull this off and not have to pay either side of a commission? And so I think we're going to see that a lot. The ones that are convertible, look, there is a large percentage of the population, oddly enough, that doesn't feel comfortable enough reaching out to a real estate agent because maybe they don't know them well or maybe they don't know them at all. And they really don't know how to market their property, but they need to start somewhere. And so they just threw it up. Those are the low-hanging fruit. Those are going to be easy, a simple conversation, they're ready to go. The ones that, and look, the best, I get so excited when I get somebody that's super combative. Because guess what? They're combative with 100% of the real estate agents that call. They're actually the easiest ones to convert because you're not competing with 15 agents. They're not saying yes to everybody. They're telling no to everybody. And if you're skilled enough to get in through their armor, you're actually going to be one of the very few people presenting, and they're actually easier to convert. So I think that's exciting.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Actually, I didn't think about that. Because I would usually reserve that to the expired. I'd say, the expired are very difficult to get they're first difficult to get a hold of. And then they're difficult to get past that first intro. Once you're past the intro, if they're motivated, the appointment is easy and the conversion is easy. Usually with a FSBO, I'd say, everybody could just lie to them today and say, hey, I have a buyer and I'd like to come preview your home. And pretty much 80% of the for sale banners would just say yes to that. Right. And so I like what you're saying though. It's like, every FSBO that's just saying yes really easy you're probably going to compete against 4 other guys and someone's going to make them some weird offer that you have to compete with. But the difficult one, the one that gives you some resistance and upfront, that makes a lot of sense to me that you're probably competing with less. And if you earn that level of respect with them, they're probably going to be more open to an interesting dialogue when you meet with them. Yeah, very cool. That's super interesting.
And it's good that you say that. Look, integrity matters and your power matters. And when you show up having lied to somebody or not been completely honest, you're going to show up as less than you could be, and they're going to catch up. They're going to catch on to that really quickly. We are bullshit detectors. We've been trained through thousands of years of development to be able to recognize things that are off a little bit or things that are dangerous in our society. They're catching on to that if you're not being your powerful self. So it's okay to tell them the truth. Just tell them the truth, right? So
yeah. In this week's 1,000-watt newsletter, The Dose, the opening thing at the very bottom, and it says, the truth works, you should use it. And that's one of my favorite scripts. I used to say that all the time. I say, hey guys, the truth works. You should try it out sometimes in your scripting, right? Yeah, very
Obviously,
cool.
My job's easier if I can come and tell you exactly what you want to hear. But the truth is, you hired me because you wanted me to come in and tell you the truth about what's going on, right? Would you prefer that I tell you what you want to hear, or do you want to hear the truth, right? That's been the script for years, right? I probably learned that from your side. So anyways. Awesome.
Yeah, classic. Let's shift over to some scripting strategies. As we know, you were talking about having really good skills, having really good confidence. That's going to kind of be dictated by scripting. And so, I would consider you a mastery level of scripting. And, I could brag about my own rights, but like, man, when there's someone like you who gives me one word, one shift, one phrase shift, one mindset shift around that question, it changes the game. I've learned a lot from Rod over the years, guys. I've actually converted many for sale by owners in San Diego a la compliments of the Rod script that I actually gained. So thank you. You've made me a ton of money, Rod. But, what are some of the latest cool scripting phrases, questions, things that you're tinkering around with that you could share with us today? This episode is sponsored by my good friends at landvoice.com. Most of you are going to be asking me, Patrick, where should I get the best for sale by owner data to make these calls, to book those appointments? I highly recommend that you guys check out landvoice.com and use my sponsorship link down below. Now, what they've done recently was they had a huge investment into improving their data and improving the user experience for us to make it easier to use the service. And they're offering it at the cheapest possible cost in the industry. For $100 a month, you get all the FSBOs, all the expired cancels. You can do prospecting around neighborhood listings and just sold, and also the absentee owners. That is incredible. And I'm going to sweeten the deal for those of you that use my sponsorship link. Send me a copy of your receipt to my email, patrick@coachpferry, down below. All that information is down below, right? And then I'm going to send you my bonus of all of the best training that I have to convert in each one of these lead types. And since you're watching this episode with For Sale by Owners, I'm going to put my famous framework with Rod's help and give you that script so that you can take everything that he said and apply it and go get a couple listings this week. So go grab that, and I look forward to seeing your results.
One of the challenges that most people have with scripts is this: my words will never fit the same in your mouth as they do in mine. And so you really want to understand a framework and be able to capture that and then adapt it. How do you go through that process? You learn it word for word from somebody else. And the more you use it, the more you're going to develop your own dialogue, and that's okay. So obviously, some of the first things that you can do is role play with people, practice with people, and make it real. Don't make it fake. Don't be stupid about it. Just be real about it. But here's the way the framework works. Motivation followed by emotion gets people to take action. It's that simple. So as you're beginning a conversation with anybody, the most important thing you can discover is, what is their motivation? Why are they actually moving? You've got to earn the right to do that. The emotional side is simply pain or pleasure. So once you understand why they want to move or the reasons behind it, their motivation, you just want to ask a couple of follow-up questions that enhance the pain they're experiencing. We're downsizing. How much too big is your house? How much are you paying on taxes on that? Ouch. Who's taking care of the whole house? Do you clean it all by yourself, or do you have somebody that comes in and does that? Asking a couple of those questions just increases the pain they're feeling. If they're really looking to move into a new home with a bigger kitchen, tell me what that's going to do for you. Why is that important to you and your family? How is that now versus how do you think that's going to be? Perfect, right? So just a couple of pain and pleasure enhancing questions. And then what is the action you want them to take? Well, it's obviously to set an appointment. It's important to get in, but it's more important to get in and have them expecting you to bring a presentation to share with them, right? So it's a few of those things. A couple of things.
So I just want to, going back to the framework that you taught me, get their motivation and understand it first, right? And then, we had to have an intro to get us there. Right.
Yes.
And so I think one of the classic questions that you shared with me is, hey, you ask about the property, and then you would say something as they discuss their property and kind of sell you on their property, raising their emotions. Then you'd say, this house sounds awesome. I like this area. What prompted you to sell it?
And why would you ever consider selling?
And then this is right from your scripting. Then it opened up that opportunity for that deep dive into motivation. Right. And then, yes, asking all those additional questions, which A, creates good rapport, and then B, amplifies the reasoning. And then I think, you and classic prospecting training is, if they are not highly motivated, then really don't pass go. There's, 100%. Go find the next one that's highly motivated. And in my research from my own self, 50% of the for sale by owners did not sell, period. And so that means they were not motivated. So just in basic research, 50% of the time, if they're not demonstrating high motivation, don't set an appointment, because you're wasting your time. right?
Guys, your time is your most valuable asset. It always has been, always will be, right? It's not
Yep.
the money in your wallet, it's the time on your clock. So, when you first open up the conversation, there's a couple of mistakes that I hear people make all the time. They don't care what your last name is, they don't care what your company is. So shorten that, right? My name is Rod, I'm a local real estate agent. That's all they need to know. You've got to disclose that. But they're looking for a buyer for their property. They have no desire to have a conversation with another real estate agent. They have no desire, that's not on the radar. What they're looking for is a buyer. So could I ask you a couple of quick questions about your home to see if it might be a fit for any of our buyers?
Right.
Give them that up front, ask permission, then you ask the couple of questions and you figure out the motivation. Exactly.
Yeah, it's perfect. And I just want to put a stamp on this for 2024, all of my friends out there. Okay. Today's conversation is attracting listings, but really when we're talking to buyers and we need to give a real reason as to what we're going to do and why they should pay us 3% to represent them in the purchase of their next home in our buyer consultation. One of those real reasons is that you have an off-market campaign.
100%.
And so really, I've said this before, but it's such a stamp today. Almost, I don't know, Rod, you tell me what your answer is. I've just been saying roughly 80% of the for sale by owners in the marketplace today, if you asked them, if I brought over a buyer, would you be willing to pay compensation? I'm just roughly saying 80% would say yes.
Sure.
What do you think your number is on that topic right there alone?
Right now, because I'm doing this right now and we've got news carrying everything with the settlements, it's dropped to probably 50. Okay. And a lot of people are actually saying, no, I have no intention of paying a buyer's agent commission, right? We're seeing that.
Meaning any commission at all?
Zero.
Oh, yeah. That's great. Okay. Well, but
Yeah.
now let's just, for my friends out there that have been following along, which I'm going to be covering email, newsletter, marketing, right? Still, I would love for all of you guys to have an off-market email campaign of a bunch of these guys that did say yes for your databases. And let's continue to grow that no matter what. Okay. That's a total side benefit. So Rod, let's keep rolling. You've got one of the most incredible closes that I've ever heard with the for sale by owner. And I don't know if I have mine from years ago when you and I used to role play this all the time. I would love to. What's the basic Rod close these days for FSBOs?
Yeah, great question. Let me backtrack one step.
Sure, go for it.
Or I know we're kind of tight on time, but when you run into the I'm not paying a commission at all, because we really want to set the appointments and then we'll hit that close. But I want you to understand, never, ever, under any circumstances, make them wrong or argue with them. You won't win that argument. If you've ever tried to convince a Republican to be a Democrat or a Democrat to be a Republican, it's a lost cause. Same thing with a for sale by owner wanting to pay a commission. Guys, it's totally okay. I'm more interested in finding the right home for my clients and not necessarily the biggest paycheck. If my clients are willing to cover my fee or we were able to add the fee to the price, would you consider selling it to them if it's the right fit?
Very nicely said. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
And if, hey, do you have a buyer? One of the biggest challenges I have is when I show my clients properties that aren't a fit for them, they very quickly lose faith in my ability to help them find the right property. So before I actually bring a client through your home, I try to get to know as many off-market properties as possible. That way, if I do have a buyer that's a perfect match for your home or I come across one in the near future, would it be okay if I sent them to you if they're willing to pay a premium for your home, right? Let's go into the close for the setting the appointment, because for a lot of us, it's pretty easy to set an appointment as a preview, but the seller isn't expecting us to deliver a presentation. So there's two things, guys, that I would love to do today. The first is I'd love to set eyes on your property in person, just so that I understand all the nuances. Obviously, it sounds like you've done a lot to the property. So I'd love to see if it's a perfect fit for any of our buyers. If it is, would it be okay if I sent them to you? Would that be okay? They're like, yes. Yeah, that would be great. The second thing I'd love to do is I'd love to share with you what we do differently that has allowed me to pay my clients to sell their home. Now, what I mean by that is if I could show you a way that I could put more money in your pocket than you could by selling this on your own and not paying a commission at all, or even hiring one of my competitors, if I could show you how I could put more money in your pocket, would you consider the possibility of hiring me? Right? That's it.
Yep. I just want to say, Rod, that script helped me book many appointments here in San Diego. And for my friends out there, if you don't know San Diego, I was dealing with engineers, attorneys. Rod, you love this? And I was trying to book an appointment with this one guy, and he says, selling a home isn't rocket science, because I am a rocket scientist. And he was in La Jolla, and he had a $1.7 million listing. I booked a FSBO appointment with a guy who he works with the venture capital firm, and they buy and sell $100 million companies, right? With a $2 million property here. So guys, whether or not you're in Salt Lake City or you're in San Diego, this stuff just works like a charm, right? So Rod, best practices. We got a couple of minutes here. Best practices for showing up, being powerful, and what to do and cover. Just maybe a couple things here at the very end, and then we'll tell everybody where to go to follow you a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So obviously when you show up, they're paying attention to you. So don't show up and then sit in your car for 10 minutes trying to talk yourself into being strong and powerful. If you haven't been to, and look, a plug for Tony Robbins, right? He teaches you how to anchor. I've anchored my positive emotions in my left top knuckle of my ring finger. So when I step out of a car, I squeeze that gently and it puts me in the zone, right? Matthew used to teach us about the golden circle and all that kind of stuff. It's all anchoring and it works the same. But when you show up, I don't ring a doorbell. There's no personality in it. Go ahead and knock on the door, take a couple of steps back, make it safe for them. Don't be in their presence. When they open up the door, turn and smile, a quick glance at your watch to let them know that you showed up on time. And then you say, hey, my name is Rod. I'm excited to see your home. And you begin the process, right? So
Beautiful.
A couple of things like that. Outside of that,
what are you preparing, for your presentation? I remember a long time ago, you used to kind of just share, you probably had like 3 main points that you used that were kind of definitive points as to why your approach would put more money in their pocket than doing it on their own. Is there any, just generally speaking, any updates to some of the things that you're presenting that would convince someone that's highly motivated and someone that's open to a better approach if they can make more money or save some time? What are some of the kind of main bullet points without sharing your total script today?
No, so okay, yeah. I'll be quick with this. I don't want to pay a commission. Guys, if I can show you that paying a commission would net you a bigger check, does it matter how much you pay or how much you walk out of the title company with?
Yep, exactly.
Right? So let me share with you a couple of simple strategies. There's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2. There has been one seller notorious in every community in the country who has sold more houses than anybody else. Any guesses as to who that might be? It's a bank.
Yep.
Short sales and foreclosures. Banks have more experience selling real estate than any other seller in every market in the country. Now, when a bank takes a property back as a short sale or foreclosure, they have an option when they go to market. They can price it above market value to leave room for negotiations. They can price it at market value, but unless the buyer's in the room with us, we're all guessing at what market value is. Or they can price it below market value. Now, what strategy do they use? 100% of the time, they always price the property below market value. Now, in all of my years, I've never met a bank in the business of losing money. Have you?
Nope.
If they're not in the business of losing money, why would they intentionally price the property below market value? Well, they're trying to sell the properties quick. You ever been through a short sale process? It's nothing quick about a short sale process. Sometimes it takes 3 to 6 months. If they were really looking to sell the property quick, wouldn't they just make the decision and sell it quick? Why would they drag it out for 3 to 6 months? It's actually brilliant. We know that people that are emotionally involved in a bidding war will always pay more for a product than they would if that product were all by itself on a shelf with a price tag on it.
Mm-hmm. That's
the
right.
best strategy, price the property slightly below market value and then hire an expert negotiator. Mm-hmm. See, there's one stupid question that I get asked every time I show a property. People say, oh, there's no such thing as a stupid question, Rod. That's not true. That was your teacher being nice to you in grade school. There are stupid questions, and this is one I get asked every time. Hey, Rod, what did your clients think about my home? Now, if I had 100 buyers in the room today and I asked 100 buyers, what are they looking for in a home? How many different decisions do you think I might get? How many different opinions?
1,000.
Close to 100, right? If they're married, 115. So here we are, and here's a better question. After we get the first offer on the table, I'm going to call every single agent, everybody that's been through the open house, everybody, and I'm going to say, hey guys, my sellers really want to get to California quick. They're super motivated. Can I ask you a question? You wouldn't have come out to see this house if it wasn't at least on your radar. At what price would this home be a yes for your client? Mm-hmm. Well, Rod, you're asking 800. It really should be closer to 750. Would you mind putting that in writing and giving me an opportunity to present that to my seller? They're super motivated. It might be a yes. Why? Because now I can legally, morally, ethically go back to everybody that's written an offer and say, hey guys, I know we're in a difficult market. I know rates are high, but we actually price this aggressively. We did get a multiple offer. We're trying to be fair. I know this is uncomfortable to be in this kind of a situation. We just wanted to be fair. We're asking for everybody to write their highest and best by Tuesday at 5. And listen, You wrote a strong offer. Please don't think you have to change it. We would be honored to work with you. We just wanted to be fair. What's going to happen?
Oh, yep. Love it.
Sorry,
It's
man.
gonna
I
go
know I
up.
was fast and I was spitting through it, but
I love it. No, you're 100% right. Yeah, I mean, this is right on point. You know, one of the brilliant things, Rod, that I've always noticed with you is you always bring really good logic, and you also, your ability to explain that logic brings them along, right? And it's just like, it's almost irrefutable. So, you know, my friends out there, you probably got to listen to this a couple 100,000 times, just like I had to, you know, just to see if I can get myself to get where you're at with this conversation. So, Rod, we'll do this again. We'll circle back around and talk FSBOs, but you know, I think everybody has enough to chew on today, right? Again, just thank you so much for helping me convert a bunch of FSBOs in my career, and for everybody that gets a chance to listen to this today. And then we'll catch up with you on the next episode.
thanks for having me, man.
You got
I
it.
know you got to run. I hope it was good.
That was awesome, dude. You know, I love that shit, dude. It's so good. Yeah, I got to. I got to do tons more content, you know, because if I can, you know, one of the big problems that I've got to solve is. This episode is sponsored by my good friends at landvoice.com. Most of you are going to be asking me, Patrick, where should I get the best for sale by owner data to make these calls, to book those appointments? I highly recommend that you guys check out landvoice.com and use my sponsorship link down below. Now, what they've done recently was they had a huge investment into improving their data and improving the user experience for us to make it easier to use the service. And they're offering it at the cheapest possible cost in the industry. For $100 a month, you get all the FSBOs, all the expired cancels. You can do prospecting around neighborhood listings and just sold, and also the absentee owners. That is incredible. And I'm going to sweeten the deal for those of you that use my sponsorship link. Send me a copy of your receipt to my email, patrick@coachpferry, down below. All that information is down below, right? And then I'm going to send you my bonus of all of the best training that I have to convert in each one of these lead types. And since you're watching this episode with For Sale by Owners, I'm going to put my famous framework with Rod's help and give you that script so that you can take everything that he said and apply it and go get a couple listings this week. So go grab that, and I look forward to seeing your results.